I hope you're doing well. My name is Quinn and welcome to another episode of Mukbang Monday. So today I'm so excited because we have some dim sum here because it's actually Sunday, but this is gonna go up on Monday.
Wait, what does dim sum have to do with Sunday?
Because they don't serve dim sum on the weekdays, they only have it
everywhere?
Most places, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Even in China?
Babe, I don't know. Can I finish my intro?
Sorry.
So before we start talking, I want to go over everything we have here. So we have some Xiu Mar, we have some soup dumplings, we have some shrimp dumplings. This was not like the right order, but it's supposed to be like these fried football shaped dumplings. And I think she misunderstood me, so I got these instead. I'm not really sure what it is, but she said it was like...
We don't know what that is?
No. She said it was like Cantonese style dumplings. And then we have some barbecue pork buns, and then we have some chicken feet. Jordan's never had chicken feet before, or have you?
No.
Okay. I'm really excited. I actually really like chicken feet, but I'm curious to see what he thinks of it. And then for dessert, we have some pineapple buns. So excited. You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's do it.
Go time?
Mm-hmm. So this sauce is with the soup dumplings.
This is the spicy stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then this sauce goes with like these little guys. Can you like let me know what those fried football shaped things are? Because I always, those are our favorite, my favorite at least. And I always try to order them and they never understand what I'm trying to get. So if you can hook a sister out and let me know what that's called down in the comment, that would be fantastic.
Like we were talking about the other night, you have to be okay with not knowing what you're eating when you date an Asian.
That's true.
It's very true. Mm-hmm. Okay.
We used to go get dim sum together all the time, but I would never get the chicken feet because I would be the only one who would eat it, and so I just would never order it because I don't want to waste it. So now he has agreed to try some chicken feet. So I got 2 orders of it.
Why'd you get 2 orders?
Because
I'm just gonna try one.
No, you're gonna have some. So this is chicken feet. It's chicken feet and like a black bean sauce. Okay, so the thing with chicken feet, if you guys have never had it, it's like, you know, it's the feet, so it's like very bony. There's like a bunch of different bones and there's like a lot of tendon. So it's supposed to be like slow cooked so that the skin and the tendons are like super soft and like just pretty much falls off the bone. As you can see, this little joint right here is just about to fall off. And then you pretty much just like eat it and then kind of spit out the bones. You ready?
You make it sound so appetizing.
All right. So here is some soy sauce.
So there's not much meat on them. So you're basically eating it for the skin. And the sauce. How is it?
It's good. It's just so bony.
I mean, I'm assuming that really doesn't change from chicken feet to chicken feet though, does it?
No, but the sauce on this is really good because if you go to a restaurant that doesn't know how to cook chicken feet, like, it has a weird flavor. This one actually is really good. And it's like soft.
Oh, look at mine. Oh yeah. Oh. Oh. I'm just thinking about this like it's a carrot. It's just a 3-4-legged carrot. This is, I mean, it's just, is this one of those things that came to be like because you don't want to waste any part of the animal? It's not like a delicacy, obviously, right? It's all bone.
I remember the first time I had it, I couldn't get over the texture because you bite down onto the bone and I just couldn't do it. I don't think I had chicken feet until I was like a teenager. But like the flavor is good. I think you just kind of have to like get over the bony parts.
I think I'm all good. That was good.
You have to finish a whole one though.
No, I don't. I said I would try it. I'm not sure that's for me.
No?
There's no point to it. It's just bone and skin.
Oh yeah, you're not a huge fan of skin to begin with.
No, I don't like skin. Like chicken skin or anything like that.
Well, I'll eat it.
Not my thing.
Yeah, I think like, I'm sure.
And you have no idea what this is?
No, I don't. I think it has like minced meat. Yeah, I think they gave me the wrong one.
Mmm.
Is it good?
Mm-hmm.
Mmm. That's good.
Mmm. These are bomb.
Mm-hmm. Those are your favorite.
My favorite?
Yeah, you always ask for those when we go to get dim sum.
I don't know if I'd say they're my favorite.
What's your favorite then?
My favorite dim sum only item?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. I really like those football shaped things that you couldn't get. Those are really good. I really like Xiu Mar. I really like shark fin. I think it's called Yutiao.
That's what it's called. So it's called like, I think it's called shark fin dumplings because it's shaped like kind of like the fin of a shark. And I think that's why they still call it shark fin, because it's like kind of like in a point. But I tried asking for it and she didn't know what I was talking about. So ordering dim sum is like harder than like just going there, because normally with dim sum you just point and like, so you know what the stuff you want looks like. But when you order it and you don't speak Mandarin or Cantonese, it's hard.
Welcome to my life every Thanksgiving. Or whenever we go to your parents. What, are you gonna talk to them about anything today?
So I was actually thinking about like, talking about maybe like our past jobs, just because this guy has had like pretty much all of the jobs that you can possibly think of. But the reason I thought about this is because, you know, with all the wildfires out in California right now, we talked about it the other day, how he actually used to be a wildlife firefighter, and I just can't imagine like
wildland, not wildlife. I'm not fighting animals that are on fire.
Wildland, I don't know. Firefighter, and I honestly can't imagine him packing up and going and fighting these huge fires that you see like on TV in California. I mean, it's like devastating and it's so scary. So we talked about it the other day and I was like, well, maybe that's a good topic for us to talk about on camera while you eat chicken feet.
Well, I ate chicken feet. That's gone. Ooh. I want to get on board.
So I drove an hour to get this, so it's a little bit cold.
Cold soup's good.
But it's really good.
And has some special sauce for it.
Oh, I forgot to show you guys. So it's a soup dumpling. I'm just dripping all over the place.
Oops. Totally oops.
Was it super juicy? It's been a minute since we've had dim sum. This is so good. Oh my god.
Have you tried a shrimp yet?
Let's try this. So what made you get into like firefighting or wildland firefighting?
Well, I did it when I was younger. And it was mostly because of the chance of overtime and good pay.
Like at that time that because you did it in Washington, right? So you weren't in California, and it's like wetter. It's more wet in Washington.
The part of Washington I was at, yeah.
Where
Eastern Washington is drier.
So are wildfires still a big thing up there?
Mm-hmm. More so in Eastern Washington. And then we would get, if there was a big fire, we would get called and have to go drive there and help and be part of like a huge team.
Oh, that it sounds like that's how like California is too. Like when you always hear
something like that. Yeah, they brought people in from out of state. They brought people in from all over.
I can't even imagine.
Whoa. Normally, isn't it like shrimp paste or like tiny bits of shrimp?
I think so. Did they cook you up with like big pieces?
It's like a whole shrimp in there.
Oh, no way. Oh, I'm excited now. These barbecue buns are so good. I love because the bun's like slightly sweet. And then you have like the barbecue pork inside.
What's your fave? Well, you haven't tried the shrimp yet.
Oh no. These are pretty good so far.
Whoa.
Yeah, I really like the shrimp dumplings because like I like it better with the whole shrimp in there because I think it gives it more texture. And then sometimes like when it's like a paste, I feel like it's like too fishy for me.
You digging those?
I mean, they're not as good as the football shaped ones.
They're like fried, right?
I left my ring on the Alexa downstairs.
Already forgetting to put it on, huh?
Well, I don't. Okay, it's like a half size too big for me. So I have this fear that when I'm washing my hands, it's gonna fall down the drain, and it scares me. Like, so I've been just taking it off every time I wash my hands, and I have like a designated spot for it whenever I wash my hands. And then if I go out, then I wash my hands like this. With my fingers pointing up. But like in the kitchen, it's on the Alexa, and then oh, are you jumping to that already?
Yeah, I'm kind of over the rest of it.
Really?
Wow.
Oh, but I need to get it resized, and I'm kind of nervous because I don't want to be apart from it right now. Outside of my house.
These are good.
These are really good.
Have you not had one yet? Really?
You want to talk about your firefighting mix? I think that's like super intriguing. We actually have a picture of him in his firefighting outfit from, how old were you when you did that?
I don't know, 19, 20?
You were young.
Just a baby.
What was like the scariest like experience you had doing that though? Or like most intense, I guess.
Most intense would be, we were the first to show up to a fire. It wasn't that big. It was probably like 30 or 40 acres maybe. So it wasn't big. Yeah.
That sounds big.
No, not for wildland fires. I think. I don't know. It's been so long. But we were dragging the hose to our section, or at least the section we were going to start at, and I was one who would go in and start firefighting or start fighting the fire, and it was kind of in fresh timber, and the fire started to climb the trunks of the trees and then go from branch to branch. I forgot what that's called, but yeah, then the fire ends up like in front of you and above you as well, so it kind of gets a little freaky because the fire's above you as well.
And it was just you? Like, you didn't have any, like, teammates? Or?
Well, we had 2 other guys that were on our engine as well, but they were in different parts, and one guy has to monitor the fire engine and stuff.
Oh, so there was only 3 of you?
When we first show up, yeah. Because those wildland, the fire trucks need to be small so you can get up in the woods and stuff like that. So I would say, I think it's called crowning or something like that. I'm not sure. Maybe crest. I don't know.
That was a big bite.
I'm turning into a pro. Talk to me about your stuff.
So, my past jobs, I actually had a lot. My first job right out of the gate was when I was 14. I worked at a Chinese restaurant at the mall.
Was that funny?
No, I just have something in my tooth.
Oh. I thought you wanted me to react, man.
Okay, so Chinese restaurant at the mall. My boss at the time actually kind of reminds me of my brother-in-law now. His name is George also. But yeah, it was different. I don't know how I liked it. I like would always work with like this.
It was a Chinese restaurant at the mall?
Like,
and you were probably the front counter?
No, I was never the counter. I was just the food server because...
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say you probably didn't enjoy it a whole lot.
No, okay, so it's like at the food court, you know, at the mall. So not even like a restaurant. It was just like the food court where they have it almost kind of like buffet style in front of like the worker, and then you go through, you're like, oh, I want number 1, you know, with a 1 combo, whatever, I forget. Oh, I was 14. That was probably...
You're 14? Can you even get a job when you're 14?
Yeah, you had to have like a parent's signature and I don't know. There was always 2 people working, so one to like serve the food and the other to like ring the people up. Unless it gets really busy, then you kind of rotate. And I would always work with this one girl, let's call her Abby. I don't know, I just need, and Abby was like kind of like lazy, a lot lazy actually. And she would not ever want to do anything other than just sit at the register and like punch stuff in. And because of her, I never got a chance to work the register because they like didn't trust me because I was really young. I was like 14. They didn't trust me with the register. And so I had to work with this girl. I did all of the work for her, even like the side work, because like literally I was like really, you know me, I like was really timid and I didn't like want to speak up or anything like that. So like when it comes to like closing down the restaurant, she made me do all of the side work, like all of the side work. And then like when the one time I didn't,
you gotta stand up for yourself.
Well, okay, so one time I was like I'm not gonna do both my work and hers, and so I didn't do her work for her. George comes in and saw that like half the work wasn't done, and he yells at me.
Was the other girl his daughter?
No.
She been there a long time?
No, she started working after me, but she was older.
How much older?
I don't know, like still a teenager, but like older. I worked there for probably like a couple of months.
You got something to say to Abby Biss?
Yeah. And then my job afterwards was I worked at Burger King.
BK? Make it your way? I think that's McDonald's.
Have it your way. Yeah, I forget what Burger King is, but so I was in Taekwondo at the time, and one of the people that were in Taekwondo in my class owned like a couple of Burger Kings.
Damn, when you were a kid and she owned a couple Burger Kings, I bet you thought she was like ball.
I did. I was like, dang.
Anybody like that back when you're young, you're like, oh my gosh, she owns a couple.
Yeah, so she was like, well, why don't you come work for me and all that stuff. So I was like, okay. Like I left my job at Lotus Express. It's shut down now, so I can talk about that.
Did you resign? You handed in a resignation?
I'm sure I did. I had to like give him my notice. But the good thing about that was like I got all of like, we got to take all of the leftovers home, so it was like really nice. I would be coming home with like
that job
boxes.
for free.
No, I mean I was getting paid like minimum wage. It was like, at the time I want to say it was like $3. No, it was higher than that. It was like $5 an hour.
You were 14?
Yeah. And I would work there on the weekends, so it'd be like Friday and Saturday. I would go there. Yeah, so Burger King was after that. And I think I worked there like Saturday mornings. Only Saturday mornings. No other time. Because it was kind of far away from my house. And my parents just wanted me to work just so that I can, like, you know, be responsible and stuff. And so yeah, I just worked there one shift a week. And I worked there for, I want to say, like at least 6 months a year, because I worked there from 15. I don't think Burger King could have hired me until I was 15. So I worked there until I turned 15. Then I got the H out of there, and
the heck, that's what she was censoring.
I started working at Burger King, and that was nice. They just had me work the register. I finally got to work the register. But then I was still really shy because I was only 15.
So you had to interact with customers then?
Yeah, and I was fine like at the front register, but then I was really intimidated like with the drive-through, and I think like after like a few months, I worked the drive-through one time and I like completely messed it up.
How?
Like, I think I like...
Pretty like...
I don't know how I messed it up. I think I gave someone a $20 order on accident.
What does that mean? And they ordered like a $1 order?
No, they ordered like $20 worth of food. Like, this order was worth $20. It was like at Burger King. That's like a lot. Like, that's a lot of food. And I think I thought that the front register person had taken their money already, and I was like new. Like, this was like my first or second time working the drive-thru, and so I didn't take their money. I just handed them the food, and they like drove off. They like were so like,
oh man. And when you're 15 too, and it's like $20, and that's probably like, that's a lot.
Yeah.
In your mind too at the time, you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I felt so bad. And I got yelled
back?
at too. they were not happy with me.
Really?
But then I did
yelled at?
Yeah, because I was like messing up. I wasn't like, I don't know.
Did you get reprimanded? No more work in the drive-thru?
Yeah.
Did you do that intentionally?
No.
Sounds like you could have.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe
Fake news?
I don't know. But I also didn't pick up like my last 2 paychecks, so I'm more than paid for that $20.
You gotta go back there.
Well, it's too late now.
You don't know that. It's only been 16 years. Right? You worked there when you were 15?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, 15 years. Do you remember, could you take me back to the Burger King?
Mm-hmm.
You could?
Mm-hmm.
We should go look for your old paycheck.
Well, they're void after like a certain amount of months.
We should just try. Hi, my name's Quinn. I used to work there, and I forgot to pick up my last paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when was this? November 2003?
What other job? I think my worst job though was when I was a nanny. I was 16 and I nannied for these people. I was driving like...
I feel like nanny would be a dope job.
No, it was like the hardest job.
I guess if the kids are brats, it would suck.
Well, I felt really bad. So I actually got the job because my best friend at the time started working there. I think she worked for them for 2 weeks and she's like, I can't handle it anymore. The pay was like really good at the time for like a 16-year-old. I think it was like $10 an hour, which is like, now that's still like a good pay, right? So that was like a lot of money. And like I got paid cash. So I was like, dude, I'm gonna work this job, you know, I'm gonna like, it was summertime too, so I was able to work pretty much crazy hours. And so I would have to get there at like 7 a.m. every single day, and then I wouldn't leave sometimes until 7 p.m. I was driving like a 1990 Jeep Cherokee at the time that didn't have air conditioning, didn't have a radio, you know, all this stuff, because it was like a hand-me-down car. It was really, I loved it though. I loved that car.
So you had the Jeep Grand Cherokee?
Mm-mm.
Just a Cherokee?
Mm-hmm.
Back in early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
That car always reminds me of the Goonies.
Mm-hmm.
You know why?
Hmm.
Oh man, because it's in that movie. Still going on that one.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good sized bite.
Mm-hmm. Oh. My jaw is like hurting from chewing.
Come on.
Wow. That was a lot bigger bite than I thought. Okay.
Do you even remember what you were talking about?
Mm-mm. My Jeep Cherokee.
Mm-hmm.
I was responsible for a 6-year-old and a 10-month-old. A 10-month-old was adopted. Yeah, well, one, I didn't like the job because I felt like the mom was like really condescending. Like she actually made fun of me for like my car because it didn't have air conditioning. So I think like one, I didn't like it because like the mom was like really mean.
Abyss.
And then two, so the first day of work, I think what happened with the 6-year-old was she had gone through so many nannies, like people just constantly going into her life and then like leaving, right? I guess they couldn't keep a nanny for very long. So the 6-year-old was so used to like attaching to someone and then like having to let go. And so the first day on, she was like such a brat to me. She was really mean, but then like as like I started working more, like she like opened up and she actually started being really nice. And I think that little girl like broke my heart the most because I couldn't work for a couple days because I wasn't feeling well, and also like the mom was talking about how she was overpaying me. So I think she wanted to like find someone who would like work for less. That was her excuse to kind of just let me go. So I didn't really get a chance to like put in a notice. I didn't like even have any heads up.
How long did you do it?
Only for like a couple of months. And I promised the 6-year-old too that I would go to her birthday party and everything like that, but because
did you?
Well, I didn't think that, like, I thought that one, if like I had to quit because of school, you know, we'd be in good terms with like her family. I was working probably 5-6 days a week, at least 10 hours a day. So I called one time and I was like, hey, do you need me to come in? And the mom's just like, no, we're good. So like that was like how I pretty much got fired from the job. Just because I was sick for a couple of days. And so I never got a chance to say bye to the little girl. I never got a chance to like go to a birthday party or anything like that. And so I felt so bad. I'm so excited for this.
What would you do if this happened to you? Because this happened to me at one of my jobs. I was a busser at a restaurant. And it was on a pier on basically on a huge river. So it was this pier. And it was at the end of the shift, or no, I was done. I worked night shift, and I want to say it was probably like, I don't know, probably like midnight, something like that. I don't know, when do bussers normally get off night shift?
Midnight, 1.
Yeah, something like that. It was late. So this pier also had like railroad tracks behind it. And I remember I parked kind of behind the railroad tracks, but it was all really close. Like if this were the railroad tracks, like this would be the restaurant, right? And this is the pier.
So where did you park?
I parked like right here.
So on the other side of the tracks?
Yeah. It's not like a huge distance. It's literally like train tracks and then parking spots, right? So I parked opposite that, and it was like midnight, 1 a.m. And there was this guy, I was counting my, I think I got tipped out by all the servers and stuff. And I think I was counting that. And I was in my car letting it warm up, doing that, and I get a knock on my window. And it's a dude. And he looked friendly. He looked like okay.
When did you know this dude?
No, but it was a super small town. So I just kind of rolled down my window just a little bit. And I was like, what's up, man? And he was like, hey, you should leave. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, you should leave like pretty quick here. It's like, you don't want to be around in the next 5 minutes. He said something like that. I was like, oh, okay. So I left, and then I called the manager, or whoever the manager was, and I was like, hey, make sure a guy walks out, all like the females, well, like everyone basically. Make sure someone has someone with them, because there's some weird stuff going on.
Did you know what happened? What do you think it was for? Like,
probably a drug deal. Yeah, I mean, he was nice enough to warn me, so he wasn't like trying to hurt anyone else or trying to. He probably just didn't want anything to be seen.
Yeah, that's so scary though. Like as a kid, I would freak out. I'd probably run him over. Just kidding. I wouldn't do that.
Well, I mean, I was a kid, but I was still probably 17 or 18, somewhere like that.
I was a kid.
Yeah, totally a kid. But what would you do? Would you, how would you react to that?
I would just leave. I feel like it was nice for you to call the restaurant. I would probably.
You would do that.
I would do that.
Have you ever had anything like that?
I used to be a server also. So my sister and brother-in-law own a sushi restaurant in Minnesota. And I worked there. That's how we actually met. Nothing bad ever happened other than like a hit and run. I had like someone hit my car when it was like icy out, but I did one time. I parked in like this kind of like abandoned parking lot. So the lot next to the restaurant was at the time, like it was unoccupied, but at this point no one was there yet, so it was like vacant. So we ended up just parking, all of the employees just parked their car, and I was like the last one out, and some guy had actually been there like painting the stripes on the parking lot, and he had blocked me in. I didn't realize the paint was like still wet. So I drove over his lines and I just like completely messed up all of his work.
What about your car though?
I mean, I'm sure one of my wheels had like...
Didn't splatter up on the paint or anything?
No, it was like he had painted it on the concrete already.
Right.
So the paint was just wet. So when I drove through like one of the lines, it just kind of like...
Was it your Jeep?
No, it was my RAV4. But I think like the guy got really angry with me. There was no sign that said wet paint. There was nothing. He just like blocked me in, so I had to like go around, right? And like when I went around, I like... I drove over the line. And so, yeah. That was the only weird thing that happened after hours. I used to work at Hollister also at the mall.
You worked at Hollister?
Mm-hmm.
Are they still around?
Mm-hmm.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I used to rock Hollister.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, man.
And Abercrombie. I never actually...
I wasn't super big in Abercrombie.
It was like the same thing but more expensive.
Kind of. A little bit.
The same thing, I think.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was a floor model at Hollister. Got paid minimum wage, and I was like 18, so I was older. That actually was like one of my easiest jobs. Like, I didn't get paid very much, but it was...
You just have to fold a lot of clothes?
Yeah.
I suck at folding.
I mean, but that's all you have to do. You literally like just...
Oh yeah, that's your job. Is to just walk around and...
And then you have to, of course, like whenever anyone walks in, you have to greet them. They would have secret shoppers who were hired by the company too. So you had to greet everyone who came in, and like they had like a slogan. So you can't just say like, hey, how are you? You know, like it was literally, hi, welcome to Hollister. You know, like, can I even say that? Can I? Please don't sue me, Hollister. Each like month or something like that, they would like come up with a new cheesy thing just to promote, like, have you tried our skinnies? And I literally had said that one time, and the lady was like, no, I'm not that skinny. And I didn't know how to rebuttal, but I felt so bad. And like, so I was hesitant to say it after that.
But you had to.
But yeah, that was like my easiest job, I want to say. It was so chill. Did you have any other weird jobs?
You know I did. I could go on for...
Well, okay, can we like name off some of your jobs?
Oh, you name off some of my jobs. Let's see, I have to go back. I mean, do like mowing lawns and stuff when okay, well obviously I was mowing like all the neighbors' yards. So that would be the first one for sure.
How old were you, would you say?
Oh, I mean, probably 10 to 16, somewhere around that.
You started like...
Well, yeah, because I always wanted BMX bikes and stuff.
Oh.
So I had to figure out a way to get them.
Look at you.
Let me see my first job. What was my first job? I worked at a department store. I grew up in a very small town that's very far away from everything. So this department store is like the closest one to us. And I'd probably have to drive like, maybe 45 minutes to get there. But it was just like, almost like your version of Hollister, except where I grew up it was like Carhartt and like stuff like that. Fishing tackle. It was like everything in one. It had fishing tackle, it had basketball shoes, it had basketballs, it had Carhartt stuff.
So is it kind of like Dick's Sporting Goods? Kind
of, but like the size of this room. It was super small. It was a hole in the wall. So I did that, and then I got a job at a golf course after that.
That sounds like a fun job.
Yeah, but that one was even further away. That was like an hour and a half probably. And I remember my mom bought me my first pair of Doc Martens. Dude, Doc Martens aren't cheap, but they're really not cheap when you're like 16 years old, because they're like 200 bucks.
Are they?
Yeah, man.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So she got me a pair of Doc Martens, and I was so stoked on them. And I remember I wore them my first day at my job, because, you know, it was at a golf course and you had to look okay. For some reason, I took off my Doc Martens to put on different shoes after my shift. and I set my Doc Martens on top of my car, and I remember I drove off, and I didn't know until like an hour and a half later when I got home that I left my Doc Martens on my car on the top.
Whoa, your commute was an hour and a half.
I just said that like literally 30 seconds ago.
Oh.
For the golf course. I said it was even.
Well, you said it was further away. I didn't hear the hour and a half.
Yeah, but that one was even further away. That was like an hour and a half probably.
That's crazy. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, it was somewhere like that. So anyway, I was freaking out because literally I just got this job. I just got these Doc Martens that my mom bought for me. You know, she's like, okay, if you need this for your job, I'll loan it to you. So got the Doc Martens, drove home, left them on top of my car. They weren't there. I freaked out, couldn't sleep at all. I remember I worked the morning shift the next morning because you have to get up early for golf courses. And I remember the entire drive in, and this was a long, it wasn't, where I grew up, there weren't any freeways. Just picture basically a 2-lane road the entire way, like through like, basically through like back roads, right? But it's still 55, 60. So the entire way I'm looking on the side of the road to see. I swear to God, no more than like 5 minutes away from my work, my shoes were just over the white line, still in like a perfect little pair, like just waiting for me to pick them up to go to work.
Really?
I swear. It was the craziest thing. I was like, my Doc Martens, oh my God! Like, I was so scared.
Did you tell your mom about losing?
No, why? No, sorry, Mom.
Oh.
She watches. Sorry. I'm pretty full.
Me too.
That was really good.
This is like one of those like later meals. We haven't had anything to eat, so our stomachs haven't really expanded yet. Anyway, that pretty much is it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed our story time of our previous jobs. I think he had a lot better jobs than I did. My jobs were kind of like blah. But anyway, let us know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. What was like your strangest, worst, or like best job that you guys had? Like, I would love to know that because I'm so interested in that kind of stuff. Give this video a like if you guys enjoyed it, and if you haven't done so already, be sure to click on that subscribe button right there so you can see more videos like this. I hope to see you guys next time. Bye!